Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this November 13th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we are glad that you are here with us today. If you want to find our content, go to EOA.network. That's like www.eoa.network, only you don't have to type in the www anymore. And that will take you to a link tree where you can find a list of all of the places where our content is available. So here in a little bit, we are going to have Rikki Jo Hickey with us. She is a part of the Arts Center East. So, are you all right, man?
Yeah, I'm great.
You were just looking away.
No, I was trying to figure out why my phone's going off when I had it muted, but I didn't have the notifications muted.
Oh, yeah. There's always that little thing where it's like you think it's muted and then...
I wish they just had a button, and they do. It's called airplane mode, and I don't use it. But where you could just say, do not make any noise no matter what.
There is a do not disturb button.
Yeah.
But
you have to pull a bunch of stuff to get to it.
It's buried. Yeah.
It's dumb.
I know it.
I used to work for a company where if your cell phone, and this is when nobody had smartphones.
Right,
it was, the brick phones, but if your cell phone went off in a meeting, you had to get up in front and dance the Macarena in front of everybody. And there was one meeting a month where there was like 300-400 people. So if your phone went off during that meeting, you were screwed.
You were like, nah.
I had to do it a couple times. I'm not going to lie. It was not fun.
Yeah, Benny, can you play the video of that? We have video.
Yeah, no, we don't have a video of that. So, missing kid from LeGrand, Drake Hill. He's been missing since November 3rd. Last seen here in LeGrand, Carhartt sweatshirt, blue or black jeans. And LeGrand Police Department wants you to call them if you have any information or if you see him at 541-963-1017. Yeah, let's get this guy found. He's a 17-year-old. He's a local kid, so...
Yeah. Yeah, and if your neighbors have a kid sleeping on the couch that you haven't seen, maybe that's him.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
You know, when my mom was the homeless liaison for Union County, we had the highest teen homelessness rate in the whole state per capita. But when it comes to homelessness, it's not necessarily people sleeping on the street.
Right.
It's displaced. So if you're sleeping in somebody else's house, you're technically homeless in Oregon.
Right.
So
and that's not uncommon when kids get to be 16, 17, 18 years old. They're like,
yeah, screw mom and dad.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I don't want to.
I'm not following any rules.
Yeah, it's easier to live at my friend's house where my kids, where their parents are more lenient than I do being at home. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, LeGrand had the highest rate, per capita, which is that's strange. You know what I mean? That's something worth, like back then it was something worth looking at because obviously something, for some reason here it was happening more than anywhere else. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy.
Yep.
Kind of crazy, man.
Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit. Explore a galaxy of creativity and beauty with this breathtaking representation of the Milky Way. Bring to life the vast beauty of the Milky Way galaxy with this incredible Lego wall art building kit for adults. Look at that. Isn't that cool, man? That looks crazy to me, the Milky Way. It makes the ideal home decor gift idea and lets builders immerse themselves in a creative activity before they use the hanger element to display it. Get it today at Hobby Habit in LeGrand, 411 First Street, just for the fun of it. Both the boys and girls LHS cross-country teams are the OSAA 4A state champions for 2025. That's pretty awesome. Head coach Alma Crow said, I couldn't be prouder of these athletes. They ran their hearts out and they left everything on the course. Their hard work, dedication, and team spirit truly showed today. Congratulations to them. And big congratulations to them. The boys team, to win the state championship this year, they are so young. The 3 out of the top 4 finishers for LeGrand were either sophomores or freshmen. So look for, this is probably going to be around for a while. LHS football won a thriller on Friday night versus Sweet Home in the first round of the OSAA State 4A playoffs. With about a minute to go, Savon Chaub scored a touchdown to make it 20-17. A Landon Hood interception on the next drive by Sweet Home would seal the deal for the Tigers as they advanced to the second round and hit the road to take on the number 2 team in the state, Marshfield, at 7 p.m. on Friday night. And these Tigers, they fumbled 6 times on Friday. They're going to have to play the game of their lives this Friday against Marshfield because Marshfield's no joke. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Tigers, but they can't have 6 fumbles and beat this Marshfield team, and they can't have 6 false starts. They're going to have to tighten everything up if they want a chance to win this game. The State 1A volleyball tournament was held in LeGrand this weekend. Man, that was fun. I got to realize how competitive and how good 1A volleyball really is. I kind of overlooked that in the past, and maybe that's on me or maybe just a lack of time, really, to get to 1A games. But the 1A tournament was super impressive. I went and shot a North Powder game, and then I shot 2 Embler games. Embler ended up finishing second in the state, and they played a great Crane team in the finals. Crane has a girl that's coming to EOU eventually, and then I shot North Powder as well, who finished 4th, and they have a girl that's coming to EOU next year, and she fits the mold of EOU volleyball. Sky Nesser, she's absolute stud, and she has the it factors, like what I like to call it for EOU volleyball. It's a certain kind of person that Khaki recruits for that volleyball team. LeGrand girls soccer team was academic all-state with a combined GPA of 3.69. That's high for a team GPA. 7 Tigers were named to the All-GOL team. Rowan Evans, GOL Player of the Year, back-to-back, and in first-team All-League. Carly Kretschmer, first-team All-League. Addie Conklin, first-team All-League. Maddie Wolcott, first-team All-League. And she just announced that she's going to play soccer at Doane, an NAIA school in Nebraska. So congratulations to Maddie. Emerson Miller, second-team All-League. Peyton Daggett, second-team All-League. And Renee Hutchison, second team all league. Do I agree with all those? I thought some players were left out, but it is what it is. You know, all league doesn't really matter that much, and that's what I always say. It's really just a representation of 4 or 5 people's opinion. You know what I mean? It doesn't have a lot of weight. GOL all-league volleyball selections were made as well. First team libero, Maddie Sievert from LeGrand. First team middle blocker, Madison Armstrong from LeGrand. Second team outside hitter, Peyton Kincaid from LeGrand. And this one kind of confuses me because, I mean, the way I read it is she got second team as both positions, but they don't do that. So so Taryn McElmoyle got second team, and it says setter right side, and that's not a position. You're either a setter or you're a right side. So I don't know which one she got it for. And maybe she did get it for both, but I would imagine that they just put that there because she plays the right side sometimes because LeGrand, I think, runs a 6-2. EOU football celebrated their seniors with a big conference win over Simpson on Saturday, 34-0. Jason Grant was named the CCC defender, I said the CCC. There's no football in the CCC. The Frontier Conference Defender of the Week for his efforts. The Mounties are 3-2 in the Frontier Conference and 4-5 overall, and finished the regular season in Helena on Saturday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time versus number 14 Carroll. 2 local kids that I've followed since they were in high school. Taking a lot of pictures of both of them too. It was their senior day. They celebrated it, and it was pretty cool, man. You saw the pictures of Reese Dixon and Brody McMillan just before. Reese is a North Powder graduate, played in the Shrine game 4 years ago. I think it might have been the first one we did. So 5 years ago. No, it was the second Shrine game we ever did. So 4 years ago. And Brody McMillan, if you're a LeGrand fan, you know who he is. EOU volleyball is back to number 1 in the final poll of the year after sweeping both LCSC and Walla Walla at home over the weekend to claim their 4th consecutive CCC regular season title and the 10th in Khaki McLean Moorhead's illustrious career. Kate Stidham was named the CCC Setter of the Week, and the Mounties will host the CCC tournament starting today. with Northwest taking on Bushnell at 2 p.m. and Walla Walla taking on College of Idaho at 5 up at Quinn. The Mounties would play the lowest remaining seed out of the winners, so either one of those 4 teams tomorrow at 5 p.m., while Corbin will play the highest remaining seed at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then the championship is slated for Saturday. EOU cross country, the men won the CCC championship, as you see right there, and got an automatic bid to the national race last Friday. Thomas Ogden and Grady Greenwood and Darian Slack were all named all CCC runners. The way they do it is I think the top 8 or top 15 get all CCC time-wise. On the women's side, the team got an at-large bid, so they will be racing in Florida in late November as well. Riley Morris and Kalia Hines were both named to the CCC Women's All-Conference team. Head coach Ben Welch was named to the CCC Cross Country of the Year for the 14th time in his career. That's crazy, man, 14 times. EOU men's soccer unfortunately lost in the first round of the CCC tournament on penalty kicks to Bushnell, while the women advanced to the finals of the tournament against C of I yesterday. And man, was that one heck of a game. Wow. It went to double overtime, and ultimately EOU ended up losing on a free kick goal. It was a great shot. I don't remember the girl's name from C of I who made it, but that's the number 6 team in the nation right there. And EOU took them to the wire, and it was a heck of a game. The polls came out yesterday. The men are 24th, and the women are receiving votes. And with EOU making that championship game on the women's side, they received an automatic bid to the national tournament as well. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it.
All right, good stuff,
man. That was
man.
a long one today.
That's a lot of script,
to
dude.
write that. I know.
Yeah.
I have a whole tree.
All right. Well, hey, let me show you some sunrise pictures. Eric Valentine, who has taken a lot of pictures over the years, and you know, the thing about Eric is he just gets out there. That's crazy. I mean, he's got to be in his mid-80s now, and he just is still. I mean, if you and I tried to keep up with him walking, it would kill me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I can walk pretty well still,
Yeah.
BC.
Yeah.
I could do it.
Well, it's not walking from here to downtown.
No.
It's the amount of, I don't know, anyhow. All right. Well, hey, let's take a look outside. And thank you, Eric, for sending us those pictures.
Yeah, if you have pictures of anything interesting and you want us to show them on the morning show, send them to office@eoalive.tv.
Yep. And so, all right, let's look at that graphic. So 14 degrees difference today, right? 60 is the high and 46 tonight.
It's going to rain.
Yeah.
Imagine that. We're in that time of year.
Yeah, but man, I tell you, those afternoons, that afternoon sunshine in the middle of these days, I just absolutely love. So, but it looks like we're not going to get any of that for the next little bit. So I had a funny thing happen the other day. So I was out on Island City Avenue, and I noticed a state trooper was kind of behind me, was near me, and most of those.
Did you brake check him?
Most of those guys I know, most of the law enforcement, anyhow. And so, but I came through downtown. I was headed to work. I came through downtown, and he was still behind me. Well, so I pull up through the alley, and he pulls up behind me. I'm like, oh man, he could have turned his lights on a long time ago, And it's actually one of the guys who watches our stuff and told me about a potential story that's happening next week. And Charlie, if you're out there, he said he watches the Thursday show. If you're watching today, thank you for watching. You haven't texted me yet. I gave you my card. And
you should have messed with him. Act like you were hiding your dope or something.
Yeah, that would
get him all nervous.
Yeah, I don't know him personally well enough to do something like Alpha Riccotti, or somebody like that. Yeah, but anyhow. All right, hey, glad you guys are here with us. Rikki Jo Hickey, who is on the board of Art Center East, is going to be with us, and she'll be with us right after this.
Eastern Oregon is full of interesting people, with interesting minds and interesting things to say. Here at EO Live, we're committed to connecting you to these intriguing people with EO Talks. We let our special guests share their ideas and life experiences with deep, open, engaging, and inquisitive conversations. You'll also be informed in depth on some of the most recent and relevant events, issues, and more. EO Talks on EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon, now on Roku.
All right, we're back with Rikki Jo Hickey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Good to see you on this early Thursday morning.
It's really early.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. Don't
No,
get
it's
me
funny.
wrong.
Anybody who is in drama or theater or they're always like, what? Have to be
Why?
here at 7:40? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think anybody, period, pretty much, unless they're like city officials.
unless
like
they
all
have an
prof-
8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
No, I am not like that. I've had too many jobs where I had to be, I sympathize, but yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, because when we first started talking about starting this show, you're like, it's going to be at 8 a.m. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that function at 8 a.m. But anyhow.
Not me.
Not you?
Not very well.
Well, I said that more or less because it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a show start when people are getting to work.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people going to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
well,
was more my thought.
no, it wasn't.
Sure it was.
It was.
Better than 7, I suppose.
That's right. That would be the alternative, which would not be a good alternative.
And having it at 8 o'clock means I start at 5:30, which is a little bit different than your 7:35.
Yeah, well, when we started the show,
Yeah.
you weren't doing a sports report like you're doing now. So
No.
yeah, it's kind of emerged. So anyhow, hey, to our guest who
Yeah,
is in the studio, yes, yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm busy all the time.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, so you did a news roundup. What did we call that thing? No.
It was like the arts update.
Yeah, Arts Update. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. And you did that for nearly a year, I would think. Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah.
It was a lot to keep up with, though, on top of everything else.
Right. But at the time, the reason that got started was you had kind of taken that on. I think you hadn't been here in LeGrand for very long.
Right.
And so then you were kind of looking for things to fill your life a little bit.
Yeah.
And you came to the city council meetings and you were giving them
Yes.
an update of what's going on in the arts community. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then you and I had a conversation. I said, well, why don't you come do that on EOA? And yeah, so
I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're very good at that. But now,
you.
since that time, though, you started a studio.
Yes.
Okay. And you're on the city council.
Yes.
And you're on the staff at Arts East,
Yeah.
Arts Center East.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So your life is a little busier now than what it was before.
Yes, indeed. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, and so I don't know. Is there any? I mean, we'll talk. We're going to talk about Arts Center East here in a minute and stuff. But I don't know what else is going on in your life. I mean, are you liking it being as full as what it is?
I do. So I'm in a play up at EOU, and that is mostly just because I scheduled an audition for my acting studio students to have not a private audition, but their own audition with EOU for that play. And I auditioned at the same time with them. And so one of my students and myself were cast in the show up there. And there's some other community members. So that has taken up some time. The studio is starting to grow. I currently have about 20 students, and they are incredible. I love them. I'm hoping to grow that. I just started renting out to Liberty Odell, who's back in town, and he's going to be giving private lessons out of the studio. So that's keeping me pretty busy in and of itself, and it's pretty fun. I love it.
Yeah.
I love my studio.
Well, and for people that don't know what kind of a studio is and what you do, because before you started, it is like, that's a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean.
So I own Mnemosyne Studios. She was a Greek goddess, the mother of the muses. And so the studio is essentially there to teach performing arts, but mostly acting and theatrical. So I work with kids. We've done some shadow puppetry camps, acting classes, of course. I do creative drama with younger kids, and so they learn how to use their bodies and their voices. The older kids, we start diving deeper into character development, and so we're working towards a winter showcase in December. And the kids are incredible. They're doing wonderful. And the idea behind the studio is that if I can help get kids involved in theater earlier, then when they want to audition, say out at Elgin Opera House or up at EOU, they'll have some skills under their belt, and the directors won't have to work as hard to help the kids understand what they need to do when they're on stage.
No, and that is, I mean, I think that's amazing, because we talk about successful sports programs all the time here in the Valley, you know, wrestling, and I mean, there are several, but wrestling is a really standout from very young, clear through high school, clear through college here.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. It's in the arts community. I mean, us having Elgin Opera House right here in the Valley and EOU, and I mean, there is a lot of opportunity for people, for kids, and who become, I mean, there's opportunity there, and you're right, it absolutely helps.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that it will help. I think what happens is once kids get into high school, they get a little too busy to do things outside of school activities. And so I'm hoping that if I get the kids younger, then by the time they're in high school, they'll feel comfortable and confident in auditioning for the shows at the high school too. So it's kind of that funnel.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, I was in theater when I was, I don't know, I probably was a sophomore in high school. I was a sophomore. And, you know, I mean, the lessons that I learned right then on, you know, how to upstage somebody or how to not upstage someone, you know, or, I mean, you know, all of those, how to move on the stage and how to turn and how to walk. I mean, all of that is very serving in real life.
It is.
Also, yeah.
It really is. I do a lot of self-advocacy work with the kids too, and boundary setting, because the industry is changing and actors are starting to advocate for themselves and say no to directors when they're uncomfortable with things. And so I'm teaching kids that aspect as well.
Yeah.
And to me, that's really important, to help them find their voices and be able to stand up for themselves and feel proud of that.
Yeah.
You know, and that courage. Yeah.
We could go down a rabbit trail there, but let's not.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about Art Center East.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you get involved? I mean, tell me about your journey with Art Center East.
Yeah, so I started off by being on the board of Art Center East, but after a while I realized that if I was on the board, I couldn't really partner with them like I was hoping to, and so I left the board so that I could partner with them as an acting studio and maybe teach classes. And after about a year of not being on the board, there was a position that was created called the Youth Learning Coordinator, and they hired me as the Youth Learning Coordinator to kind of make the educational programs for youth more robust. They already had classes for youth, but they just didn't have quite enough staff to keep it going as strongly as they wanted. And so this position, I've been building it for the last year, as well as the programming and whatnot with it.
So, tell me a little bit more about what your position involves.
Yeah, so I plan classes, I look for teaching artists, I work with volunteers. Last year we started a program that was called the After School Art Program. We're trying to get it up and running, but I'm looking for a teacher for this year because our teacher moved back home to Central Oregon. And so we lost her. So we're looking for a new teacher to teach the After School Art Program 3 days a week, as well as a theater after school program 3 days a week. So if anybody's out there and is interested in becoming a youth arts teacher, please, please, please let me know, because we'd love to get that up and running again. And then, of course, the biggest thing right now that I've been working on for the last year has been the Youth Open Art Exhibit.
So tell me about that. And yeah, and we have some pictures too, but yeah, tell me about how that started and stuff.
When I was first hired, they were still doing Dia de los Muertos there. And so I did that last October and November and worked on that. And we had a whole bunch of kids in schools that participated because they were used to it. At the end of last year, we, as an organization, thought that it might be time to sort of let Dia de los Muertos rest for a while and try to bring to life this vision that Art Center East had to have a youth art open exhibit. And so I thought, well, now might be the time. So I put together a proposal, and it was approved. And over the last year, I've just been trying to build up, like, how to... I've been working with the gallery director to learn how to put an exhibit together, because I've never done it before. Yeah. And so this was actually really exciting. Jennifer Durr, who is our gallery director, really guided me really well on how to reach out to artists. And she said we want it to be as professional as possible because we wanted to offer kids an opportunity to not only display their art, but to also sell their art if they were interested. So some of the kids are actually selling their art, and a few pieces have sold already, which is really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And people who aren't even related to them are purchasing the art, which is great, right? It's not just mom and dad buying the art, which is fantastic.
Right.
So there's a couple pieces there that I want to buy that are not for sale, unfortunately, but that's okay. So we've worked with them. The kids and their parents had to fill out an application, but it's an open exhibit, so we didn't deny any art if it came in before the deadline.
Okay.
So next year we're going to have to pare it down just a little bit. We allowed people to enter up to 2 pieces of art. So there's over 140 youth artists under the age of 18 that entered artwork from 4 counties, from Union, Wallowa, Baker, and Union. I already said that. Umatilla. There we go. That brought their artwork. So over 140 artists and I think over 180 pieces of art total.
Wow.
Yeah, it's full. Both galleries in there are full of artwork. It's so fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is good. So what is something that somebody might not know about setting up an exhibit like that?
Deadlines are really important. Making things happen in a timely manner so that artists feel confident in submitting their work. I think what was the hardest for me to wrap my head around was the contracts with kids, because the kids aren't signing the contracts, but we want to make sure that their art is protected and that their creative and genius is protected as well, right? And so we made sure that they get to keep all rights to their art, and that if they sell, we're only taking $5 off of every sale in order to cover the processing fees, and the kids get the rest of the money. So I think what's important, that was like most interesting to me, being new to creating an exhibit, was just how much effort and energy goes into reaching out to people. So I've spent hours and hours and hours on emails and phone calls and answering questions that I just was not prepared for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that comes to my mind is, some of the coloring, some of the art that my kids did, I wouldn't really call it art. You're making a drawing. If you hand a pen or some kind of a marker to a 4-year-old and a blank piece of paper, they're going to do something with it.
Yeah.
And it's always creative.
Yes.
But is it art that somebody? So I get that that would be the obstacle. That part of that would be enabling the kids to think that, hey, you can create, you should be thoughtful about this because you're creating something that is going to be, I don't know, talk about that whole thing.
I think what worked well this year was that educators in different schools throughout the counties encouraged their students. So art teachers encouraged their students, and classroom teachers encouraged their students to submit work. So from Echo alone, we got 70 pieces of art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. And they're great. There's like blacksmithing art, and I think there's an image of a pumpkin candle holder that I absolutely love. And they entered these welded dragonflies. It's just incredible work that I wouldn't have expected to come in. There's ceramics and pottery. And so the teachers, I think, had a huge impact this year. Because it was the first year we didn't really know how to reach out. I didn't really know how to reach out to the community on a broader level other than through posters and our email blasts. So I think right now word of mouth is the biggest way to spread the news. And I think next year we're going to have a lot more artists because the kids that have been coming to tour the gallery are really excited. And some of them are saying, man, I should have entered my art. And I'm like, yeah, you totally should have. It would be great. Fill these walls.
Well, and it's funny because the definition of art is essentially, I don't know, when I was a kid, it was like, if I was creating or whatever it might be, I was just creating. I mean, I just, I never thought of a mud pie being, or a sandcastle or whatever it might be as being artistic, But at the same time, throughout my life, I mean, several of my family members have been welders and fabricators, and kind of looking back on some of the things that they have done, it's like, yeah, that was art. That was, I mean, from a different lens, is like, yeah, that is a trailer hitch, but there's some art in that person. Yeah. So I mean, has that changed over the years, do you think?
I don't think so. I think what I've noticed, because I'm not a visual artist, I'm a theater artist, so it's very different for me. But what I'm learning is that kids have this innate ability to sort of use space and color and have an intuition to blend and bring out different elements in artwork. So some of the 0 to 5-year-old artwork that you see in there is, it would seem simplistic, right? But it really isn't, because you're seeing just different colors in the way they work together, or the way one kid drew himself running and he has the little dash marks behind him, and it's so beautiful. And I think, to be honest, like if you're bringing out any sort of creativity and displaying it in a way that can be just appreciated, then it's art. Yeah, and that's what these kids did. There are some incredible pieces in there. Like, yeah, there's some incredible pieces.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So I remember my son, who is now in his early 30s, when he was young, I remember him drawing, he said, yeah, this is somebody saddling a horse, and we looked at it, and it was somebody saddling a horse, but it was like the camera was just on the ground, so all you could see was the hooves of the horse and 2 feet of a person, but it was like,
that's awesome.
It was like, and so then you catch this little glimpse that your kid visualizes things in a totally different manner than what you would have, anyhow.
Yeah, probably from his point of view, right?
Right. Yeah, maybe so.
Down
But
low,
it was like, but super interesting,
Yeah, it's really fun to see. There's just an array of mediums, and it's really fun. If you have a chance to get there, I hope you will, because it's incredible.
So put that poster up, Benny, real quick, one more time, and just kind of remind us of. So it is, and I'm sorry, there you go. So it runs
just until this Saturday.
Okay. And so then, and you said 150 pieces?
About 180 pieces.
180 pieces.
Yeah, there's 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional artwork in there.
Now, does it cost to get into
No,
it?
it's always free to enter Art Center East.
Yeah.
So the galleries are always open to the public for free.
Is there anything along the way that has kind of surprised you? I mean, since you're not a visual artist, but this clearly is a very visual exhibit. Yeah, I mean, have there been some things that have surprised you or stretched you a little bit in this process from an artistic standpoint?
Yeah. Well, I've learned a lot of terminology that I just didn't know before, so that was really exciting. I think what maybe stretched me the most was understanding just the different components that go into creating a visual piece of art and just the thought process that goes behind it. So none of the artwork in there looks like a kid just slapped paint on a board, not a single piece in there. There's photography and poetry in there, and I think what I forget about sometimes is that literary arts are just as important as visual arts and performing arts, and so I'm hoping next year we can maybe promote the literary arts some more. We only got one poem this year, so I'd like to see more of that next year. And actually, because of this, there's kids now asking for writing classes, so that's exciting too. It's also really wonderful. I think what stretched me most was just not knowing what was going to be coming in and trying to plan around that, right? So we had a proposal process where the kids had to say, yes, I'm going to submit something, and this is how big it's going to be, so that we could plan ahead, so that the gallery director, so that Jennifer Durr could plan ahead and figure out how she wanted to do the layout for the exhibit. She does a great job. It's so beautiful in there right now. I can't get enough of it. So I think what was most challenging and what stretched me the most was just trying to keep all of the little pieces and information bits streamlined for everybody. But as far as the art was concerned, I just have been learning that kids, I think the biggest thing was that kids just have this natural ability to be creative. And if we let them be creative and don't squelch it, they're going to bring us incredible pieces, you know, and share who they are with us. That was probably the most heartwarming thing too, was getting to read their bios and then seeing their artwork. It just kind of all tied together who they were as a person for a little snippet of their life, right? Like we're just seeing little snippets, and that's kind of fun.
Well, and art is so, especially visual art, is so subjective. It doesn't matter, you know, and so unless you really understand the glimpse, the intention behind it, I mean, and what's interesting is there are times that you'll see art that is done by some famous professional, and people literally will say, my 4-year-old could have done that piece of art, you know, because it is just so random. I mean, and so then, so it's the intentionality behind it, the thoughtfulness that I think that's the thing that defines, or at least from the person who's viewing, it helps define in their mind what might be going on.
Yeah, well, and every viewer also has their own, you know, their own history that will feed into what they're seeing on paper as well. And so if an art piece speaks to you, let it speak, you know. That's just how I feel about it.
Well, and I totally get that, but that whole, I mean, I've lived in this world of, and so this has been a little bit of a progression for me, is that, I mean, I lived in welding and ranching and lawnmower. I mean, it was just super practical, you know, and so then as my life as an artist has developed over the year, it's like, I've been really hesitant to call what I do art, you know, and so then part of that progress is like, so then me letting myself feel that way, and then looking at something that somebody else has done and seeing the art in it, that's just been a little bit of a progress.
Yeah.
So
I think that anytime we're viewing art, it's just a matter of how we come to it too, right? Like sometimes I see a piece and I'm like, yeah, that's not my thing at all. And then sometimes I'll see, one of the 5-year-olds' work, I just was blown away. I think you have an image of this one too. It's this dragon and this swirl, and she's 5 years old. And then she created this beautiful painting, but then it wasn't complete without the feather tail, right? Like kids think of these little details.
This one, yeah.
Yes, right? It's just so beautiful. That one is Worth $300,000 and not for sale. Yeah, I love, that was another really interesting thing too, right? The kids get to tell us what they think their art is worth. And so I think next year I'm going to offer a class on how to price your artwork so that kids really understand like there is time that goes into it, there's supplies that go into it, and you want to think about those things. Because some kids were trying to sell their artwork for $7, and I'm like, we're taking $5 of that to cover processing fees. I'm not going to let you do that. So I would call up parents and be like, yo, can we change that pricing just a little bit so your kid can get some more money because it's worth more. But I would never tell them what it was worth. I just said, they're only going to get $2 if they're selling it for $7, and that's just not it.
Well, and again, the word I come back to is subjective. I mean, just because it is this mishmash of, I mean, all of this stuff is, and you're, anyhow. And yeah.
Art is just a way to express ourselves creatively, right? I mean, that's really what it is. And so if we're expressing ourselves in a creative manner, we're making art. Whether or not it's good is that is the subjective part, right?
Right.
So, but if we're creating and it's creative, it's art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a funny little side story. So my oldest daughter, Michaela, she is an artist. We've always called her an artist. She does it for a living. She does luxury wedding invitations and does very well at that. Okay, well my second daughter, Kelsey, who lives out in Cove, okay, she's a nurse up at the hospital, okay, and she's been very successful at what she is doing. Well, I don't know, about a year ago she started a cookie decorating business. And flower is spelled Flour,
Nice.
And you can check out her stuff on Instagram. Anyhow, I see her stuff and it's like, you have been a hidden artist all this years and we didn't know, I mean, to see the stuff that she's doing, So it's just, you're right. It's really interesting that sometimes when people have an opportunity to do something like that, I mean, these little things just kind of appear.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, awesome. Well, thank you. Tell us more. Is there something else that you want to highlight for us about Art Center East? What's coming up?
Well, we offer classes to youth for free, so that's a big deal. People don't seem to know that right now.
Okay.
The funders are very generous when it comes to teaching youth, so any class that is there for kids is free. So please sign up for classes is the other thing, right? And we're always looking for teaching artists because we just want to fill up the studio classrooms as often as possible. We do have 3 studios. We have a glass studio, a ceramic studio, and a visual arts, just a general art studio. So we can have up to 3 classes running at a time within the building, and we would love to. So I think if people can get in to see the art exhibit, they really should, because it's worth it. It's worth seeing. We mixed the artwork, so it's not like by age category, even though we did age categories. So even like 3-year-olds artwork is mixed in with the teens artwork. And what that does is it kind of opens up the younger's eyes to what they could potentially become by seeing their artwork next to somebody else's artwork. And I think that's just really worth taking your family or your kids, or even just go on a date with a friend to come see. With only 3 days left, it's definitely worth being in there. And these kids put their heart into it. Like, I am so impressed.
So did you get submissions from one age more than the other? I mean, kind of give me an idea of the amount of how the age ranges are represented.
Yeah, so the biggest age range was definitely the teens, but it wasn't much larger than the 12 to 14-year-old age range. So we broke it down so that it was 0 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 14, and then 15 to 18. So the 15 to 18 was the biggest. Actually, it just kind of went in order, to be honest. So the largest number came from the oldest and the smallest number from the youngest. Oh. And I think part of that is because the youngers require parents to actually bring in the artwork, you know, whereas the teens are able to bring in theirs on their own.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Rikki, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for what you do, and please keep us updated.
I will. This is such a blessing. Like I'm just so happy right now with how well it turned out.
Well, and every year, every summer, like this last summer, we had 3 interns that were a part of, and they came in and spent some time with us. I mean, and if there's teaching is in my heart. I taught college for 4 years, and so I really enjoy that part of it. And so if there's a point where we can plug into that stuff with you, we'd love to do that.
That would be fantastic, because I know people are interested in film and cinematography and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. And
Alrighty.
photography.
And photography, yeah. All right, man. Want to get us out of here?
Let's do it.
Okay.
On this day, November 13th, 1789, in a letter to John Baptiste Leroy, Benjamin Franklin writes, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." 1971, the Mariner 9 is the first spaceship to orbit another planet, Mars. 2001, War on Terrorism. In the first such act since World War II, U.S. President George W. Bush signs an executive order allowing military tribunals against foreigners suspected of connections to terrorist acts or planned acts on the United States. 2017, the world's earliest winemaking is uncovered in Kramis Didigora, Georgia, in clay pots from 6000 BC. 2024, the world's largest coral, larger than a blue whale and 300 years old, is found off of the Solomon Islands in the southwest Pacific Ocean. The number 1 song in America on this day in 1995, "One Sweet Day" by Boyz II Men, and the quote of the day comes from the legendary John Wooden. "Talent is God-given, be humble. Fame is man-given, be grateful. Conceit is self-given, be careful." One more time.
Good.
Talent is God-given, be humble. Fame is man-given, be grateful. Conceit is self-given, be careful.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Yep. What do we got? We don't have any football to talk
No,
about.
but
No
yeah,
streams.
I think if people want to watch LHS play, can they?
NFHS, yeah.
So
You got to pay for it. Just
it's
so you know.
that's a subscription-based thing, but you can buy a single event, but be sure and turn off the monthly renewal.
Yeah, they'll
part.
get you.
Yeah,
That's how they get you.
Yeah, it's like, that's a whole nother conversation. So, all right. Hey, thank you guys for being with us. We'll see you soon.